the summary in. This is for e-zine-like documents where you put the body in the resource box, where you can put different keywords in there with hyperlinks back to different pages to do deep linking and things like that, and it'll generate different random versions of the resource box. But we're just going to work with the body of the text. Again, this is just an example. So we're going to paste that text in there with that appropriate syntax. And then we're going to tell it, we've given it a title. Now we can do the same thing with the titles as well. We can say this is a test, and then we can say that. Or we could do something creative. We can say this is, that was a test. And it'll pick different one of those each time. Now we can tell it how many we want. We can do 500 copies. There is where some power is. But I want to warn you, if you use 500 copies, you better have lots of different... I would suggest your thesaurus stuff, when you go into the word substitution, I would strongly suggest that you use at least 5 different words in here, at minimum 4 or 5 different variations of that word, because you want these to be unique. There is some duplicate penalties and things like that. You just want these things to be unique so that they'll be powerful. But if you do 50, you don't have to worry about it that much, as long as you perhaps can get away without even doing the word substitution and only rewrite the sentences 3 times. You only need to have about 60 to 70% of the document to be not matching exactly another paragraph in another document, for it to get away from the duplicate penalty. Okay, so this again being our test, we'll go ahead and click the create, and you'll oops, name already taken. Okay, well then let's change it to test 12. Alright, and then we'll create it. Name has already been taken. Alright, I don't know why I did that. Let's say that. Create. There we go. That worked. So now notice we've got the actual text here that we typed in as our body, and here's our title that we put in there. Now down here they're going to show us one version of this every time. Now there was that was, so it selected the that was portion to do this. Now notice that it used one word from that first group, one word from the second group, and it'll give us 50 copies of it we can download right here in a zip file, all in a numbered sequence. So let's just hit a refresh on this. And now notice it used companies this time, and this time it used competitive. Let's just keep an eye on it and see what it does. We'll hit refresh again. Strong businesses, notice the change. Long haul often apply modern marketing instead of leading edge to accentuate themselves. Here's some different words, and we'll hit it again. So that notice here, strong, growing businesses. Notice that each time it rewrites a different version of that sentence. If we would have gone through and done that to each sentence, and well, we'll go back through here and run this test. We'll take this here and we will edit it, and now we'll show you a test with using separate sentences too. Oops. Okay, I won't bother taking out the spaces, but we'll hit the update, and we'll go down here and look and see what it gave us. Now see, this time it used one of the full sentences. We'll hit it again. Now notice it's changing the sentences completely. And that's not the first one, because we haven't had our first leading sentence. It's picking from number 2 and 3, number 2 and 3. And now it's used the first group. Now if we had different phrases and everything for those second and third sentences, it would too substitute along the way. So we would end up with a lot of different variations of that very first paragraph. So we continue to do that down through the document. And once you've done a couple of these, you can do a full document, 300, 400 word article in about 2 to 3 hours and run it through this spinner. And then once it's spun, we hit the edit button. Whoops, I didn't want to hit that. I apologize. We update it. Go down here and hit the download button. And we can actually see the different copies. If you can see that in the screen, it numbers them all down through there, 1, 2, and if we open one up, see, and there it uses the first paragraph or the first sentences with its carriage returns. Now what these are able to do, you're able to take each and every one of these as a unique document and you could submit them to different websites and they would not get Google penalties. And that's pretty much the article spinner in a nutshell.